Sadhguru, there are some issues also that I'd like to talk about. As I said in the beginning, right now everyone's talking about COVID, everyone's talking about what 2022 is going to look like. Amid all of that, as is always the case in India, it's again election season. Do you think, and there's a huge debate over this, do you think that at such a time, and there are restrictions on all of us, there are curbs on all of us, these kind of massive election rallies, political events should be allowed to happen?
See, if you ask me, there is a democratic process. How we conduct it is the issue. We're not questioning the democratic process. Now, the ruling party in any given state or in the country would be happy if you postpone the election by 5 years. What's the problem? My 5-year term will become 10-year term, what is my problem, all right? So it is the opposition which definitely wants the election. Because ruling party is willing to postpone, why 3 months? 5 years, let us be really safe, because many scientists are saying this pandemic could last anywhere between 4 to 6 years. So let's put it off by 6 years, every ruling government will be very happy. So we cannot do that. We definitely cannot do that. So democratic process has to go on. Now the question is only about how we conduct it. Do we need massive rallies? Well, unfortunately, the Indian population and the Indian way of doing has always been an emotive way of appealing, not too much… Unfortunately, there are enough examples in the country when the governments do what needs to be done long-term. Those things did not… they never got re-elected. Only when they did short-term things and made emotive appeals, they got re-elected. This is a well-known fact. You being in the news, you definitely know that. So right now, this is one aspect that I'm pushing for. Why we are trying to move 3 to 3.5 billion people across the world is because in a democracy, the most important responsibility that a citizen has is what sort of government do you elect? Do they have long-term concerns for the nation and for the people? So, why nobody is picking up soil, I'm going back to this because it is very connected. Why nobody is picking up soil is because the government terms are 5 years in India, 4 years in other countries. Why would somebody take up something which will take 15, 20 years to yield results? They don't want to do it because it's a long-term commitment of resources, everything, every nation has crunch for resources. Only if people say, only if people speak that we want this to happen, they will take this. So we need to reverse this instead of political leaders speaking to the people. I don't know, we must evolve devices, apps and news media in so many ways where election time people should speak. These 120 or 30 crore people must speak what kind of government they want, what are their concerns, rather than politicians continuously speaking of what it is. So, for a politician to respond, for a leader to respond, it's just one person, he can use various mediums to speak, but people should speak. For people to speak, we must provide the necessary digital processes through which they can do it. This may not happen immediately, but I think we must aim at this, where election time, every citizen should be allowed to speak, and maybe it should be made mandatory, you must say. As a citizen, it's your responsibility to say where you want the nation to go. At least if they don't know how to articulate, 5 things which are most important or 10 things which are most important. Do you want this or you don't want this? At least to that extent, the nation should speak. Then the need for these massive rallies will go away. Right now, the only way they will win the election is by gathering a mass of people, by proving their strength, because even if a leader is doing fantastic work, suppose his rally has very thin attendance, believe me, the perception will change and he will lose the election. So they want to make sure large number of people are there, COVID or no COVID, they want people there because that has become the process and it's very, very important we strive to change this process, it's not a one-day affair.